Ricky Pearsall comes in. He talks for about 8 minutes, and he speaks candidly about his feelings, what happened that day. Nothing's off limits. Nick Bosa happens to be in there for all of it. He's supposed to be the next person after Pearsall, and I don't know, maybe he felt that he had to wait too long, or he wasn't. I don't know what his deal was, but we were all sitting there taking notes while Nick Bosa was looking at his phone.
Where
And
was Bosa?
in the same front row as us. I sit front and
He
center. He was front and left.
So he was sitting like everybody else, and
Yeah.
he was near the stage.
Yes.
First row. Okay, keep going.
Looking at his phone. Pearsall's done. Walks off. Bosa walks up, real slow, upset. They lost. And Maddie, first questions, kind of trying to find like a respectful transition because the Ricky Pearsall stuff was bigger than football. Maddie says, Nick, after listening to everything Ricky just said, like, what can you say about that guy? Like, what a guy. And Nick says, yeah, honestly, I wasn't paying attention, but he's a really good kid.
Honestly,
so what does that tell you about him and this team?
Okay. I feel that what Bosa did is as disgusting or more than what Shanahan did. My father would not be proud of him. My father, who was, I believe, the gold standard of behavior, would have taken him aside and said, son, this kid was shot. This kid got up there and just poured out his heart. You should have been interested. You're his teammate. On this team, that means your family. And they think like that. Football players think like that. They're brothers, they're family. And you were on your phone. You let the media see you on your phone. And then you said, I wasn't paying attention. Wasn't it worth paying attention? Don't you care how your brother feels? I want to say I am deeply disappointed in Nick Bosa for that behavior, and I wouldn't want to be his friend because I couldn't count on him. But the larger picture is...
He's also a captain. Just want to point that out.
Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd like to point out is I keep saying there's something wrong with this team. And I don't know, I'm not in that locker room, but I've been around teams that die. And this team is in the early stages of dying. They can come back, but right now they're in the early stages of dying. And one of the reasons is I don't feel they're a team.
Yeah.
And I think Bosa's actions on his phone, he could have lied. He could have come up and said, those words were very touching. It meant a lot to me. He didn't even care to put in the energy to do a white lie. And what I'm saying is, this is a captain. I think that's emblematic of what's wrong with this team. They're all out for themselves, or not all. I can't say that. I don't think the DBs are out for themselves. I don't think the offensive linemen are out for themselves. Certain key stars are out for themselves. And that creates trouble in a locker room. That creates the kind of performance we're seeing. And you saw it with Bosa. That was very bad what he did. Nick, I know you're not watching this. And you don't care. I'm deeply disappointed in you.
Okay, I got more. What about this team knows it's not that good?
I think, oh boy, that's a wonderful question. Again,
how about that? Nick Bosa's up there not paying attention because he's looking at the light at the end of the tunnel.
I think the team thinks, this is what I think. And look, this is from left field. You can't say Lowell knows. I don't know. This is but I've been around teams like this. I think they still think they're really good. But I think if I think they're not a team, I think they think so too. And I think they're in the valley of doubt. They're in the valley of doubt. They doubt that they're a team, and they doubt their leadership. They doubt the head coach, that he can bring them out of this. That's a serious thing. When Bill Walsh didn't do well, players always knew he could bring them out of it. Yeah. I don't think they believe this guy can bring them out of it because he's never, ever brought them across the finish line.
Right. And then on defense, they got Nick Sorensen and Brandon Staley, who don't seem to have the answers. Maybe
Compare
this is a
them.
poorly coached team.
Compare them to what Kansas City did on defense.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a defense.
Yeah.
They had answers. These two guys, this two-headed whatever, they don't have answers, especially late in games.
Dad, to me, I think Nick Bosa feels that he's great, but I think he feels that the team around him isn't. I mean, after they lost to the Cardinals, he said unprompted, "I haven't lost confidence in this team." That sent off an alarm in my, like, that means you're losing. You're wondering, you're starting to question.
Yeah.
And so then a couple weeks later, they lose to the Chiefs in an embarrassing way, and he goes up there and is just completely disconnected. To me, that's a guy who's looking at, okay, McCaffrey isn't back yet, and Ayuk just went down for more than a year, and Debo missed the game, and I don't know. I don't know about this team. We got a long way to go, and I don't know about this team.
I'll tell you who else I think feels that way, Trent Williams.
Yep.
I think, again, he has the same mindset as Bosa. They're both independent contractors.
Yeah.
They'll play for anyone. I don't know that they feel that they're 49ers. They're great players who play for the 49ers.
Correct.
He got kicked out because he punched a guy in the helmet.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like biting a guy in the ear. That's just kind of tapping out.
Absolutely. First of all, how stupid can you be to punch a helmet? You could break your hand. You're not going to hurt a guy when you punch him in the helmet. It's a way of saying, I want out of this game. Mm-hmm. It's like Tyson biting Holyfield's ear. Absolutely, Iggy. That's what I think. There was so much bad behavior around this team. Do you think Bill Walsh would have praised him for punching someone? He would have said, what the hell do you think you're doing? We just made you the highest paid whatever, and you're getting kicked out of the game. Shame on you.
Yeah, how come Kyle didn't go up to Trent Williams at his locker after the game?
That's a good point. I don't know. Maybe Trent Williams would have told him to stuff it. He makes more money.
Yeah, he wouldn't just stand there and nod.
No. He would have had a lot of things to say.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And you know what? Between the two of them, the one who needed discipline, the one who needed teaching was the quarterback, but the one who needed discipline was the left tackle. You don't do that on our team. That's not 49ers standard. You stay on the goddamn field. He's the one who, Iggy, you're making a beautiful point. He's the one who deserved a thrashing, who deserved correction in behavior, not the kid. But no, in a million years, he wouldn't go up to Trent Williams. First of all, if Trent Williams stood up, he would tower over him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't want
Kyle's
that.
taller than Brock.
Right.
You know who else Kyle wouldn't have done that to? Jimmy.
Tell me.
Jimmy would have told him that. Jimmy would have told him off.
Why do you say that?
Because Jimmy has standing. Jimmy was rich. Jimmy had been paid. And we saw Jimmy say on the field, "Your plays freaking suck." Like
he did
with cameras around. With in an environment where you can't film him, I don't think Kyle would have had the guts to do that. I don't think Jimmy would have let him.
Jimmy would have told him off.
Yeah.
So he goes in.
Jimmy would have talked. He wouldn't just stood there and nodded. He would have had something to say too.
Yeah, on this play, you feel blah 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 blah. So
your plays freaking suck, man. How about that?
Yeah. So Kyle goes. We're coming back to Purdy, to one of the most vulnerable people on the team.
The guy he knows won't talk back.
Yeah, and he hasn't been paid yet, and the team hasn't given him their stamp of approval.
Correct.
He's a little bit on quicksand.
He's like a pledge at a fraternity.
I love it.
He's the pledge president. He's the class president. They love him, but he's still a pledge. He's still cleaning up people's rooms and stuff. Hey, can you take that back for me, please? Thanks. Love you, man. You're a great guy. You're my guy. Next year, you're gonna be one of us. But not now.
Not now.